Hello, beautiful souls. I'm so glad that you could join with me today. Let's see what the cards have to say today. A lot of big urgency coming through. Individuals going through some difficulties today. There is a strong pull towards the feminine that has some unhealed aspects of the self. There is some feeling as though there's an inability to escape the situation that's been handed to you, the situation that you may be in. There is a perspective here that needs to be considered. When we're dealing with a Mother of Swords, we're dealing with a divine feminine who has experienced some tremendous difficulties. The divine feminine had opened herself up to be vulnerable, to be nurturing, to be loving, to be accepting, and doing all of the things that she felt called to do, that she felt were natural for her to do, and was taken great advantage of. Now, for some of you, I'm feeling that this is you, that you are the person that connects strongly with this card, and for some, I'm actually feeling that this is difficulties that they're dealing with a divine feminine in their close circle, whether it's their partner, their family member. It's a individual that you're struggling to relate to, you're struggling to understand. There was recently some words shared. You felt as though it was unfairly, there was an unfair exchange, whether you were snapping at that individual or that individual had snapped at you. Whether the individual had felt as though it was necessary to do that, or whether they were just feeling out of sorts and it was, a shift in energies. We talk about shifts in hormones too. We're all real people. And if we take a moment to just honor, our Mother of Swords has experienced life. This is a swords position. This is experience. This was in her head. She went through a lot. She's suffered. I'm getting a number of you have left abusive relationships. There are patterns and habits that we pick up in these environments that are survival tactics. Speaking as a woman who has been this woman, we pick up survival tactics. We found a way to protect ourselves, to hide away from connection, to ensure that there was no opportunity to be taken advantage of, to be sure that our vulnerability wasn't going to be used against us, to ensure that it's just not going to happen anymore. I'm not going to let this happen anymore. I'm not going to be taken advantage of. I'm not going to be stomped over. And as this woman is trying to heal, even if she is separated from that damage and that dangerous situation or these manipulative situations, she has not fully learned how to shed these protective layers of armor that she's put onto her body. She is trying to keep herself from being hurt again, and she doesn't realize that she is hurting others in her path. She feels destructive at times. Sometimes she does want to burn it all down. The best thing that we can do in these situations, whether we are experiencing this from another individual or whether we are this person, is we need to take some time to really truly understand and honor the experience that our Mother of Swords has had. How cruel that someone would treat her that way. How unfair that someone would take advantage of her love and her kindness. Now, she is a very sharp woman. She's intelligent. She knows what's happening around her, and she's probably very aware of when she does not feel like she's reacting and responding to stimuli in an appropriate way. She knows when she's not doing her very best. But it also doesn't do any good to respond to this with the same kind of energy. So we have to be very, very aware of the type of energy that we're using to respond, so that we don't continue to get that same energy back. There's not any one set group of people that when I speak to the collective, that this necessarily refers to. So I feel the ones that I'm speaking to right now feel as though there may be no opportunity for them to truly be able to let go of this pain. They're feeling as though this is just a constant cycle that they've been stuck in for the longest time. Whether they cannot leave the environment of this mother, or feel that they cannot escape this pain, feeling very much unable to walk away from the situation, feeling stuck in that healing rut where we're not quite sure if we can ever forgive and let go. There's a deep pain here for individuals who are connected to these experiences, and it's become part of your identity at this point. And what Spirit wants you to know is there is absolutely never a time when you are tied to any identity, to any experiences that you've had, or to any aspect of yourself that you used to be. Your healing journey is going to be a very unique one for you, and it's going to go in layers and cycles. And so right now we're thrust back into this cycle, and we have to take some time to decide and think before we react and respond. We have to tone that temper down, to pull it back. Don't immediately react to everything that's occurring to you. Don't immediately react to her. Give some space, give some time. Retreat. Say, I need to step away from this right now. It's too much for me right now. I love you and I care very deeply about our connection, but I am just not in the space right now. And that's okay. You can do that. No one is going to be upset with you for saying you need to focus on you. The cards are saying, why have you been expecting others to force you into this? Nobody's forcing you into healing. They can't do that. You have to say, I need this for me. I have to state my boundaries. I have to be my own advocate. And that is not only for when you're responding to her with love and compassion, but when you are her and you're addressing the people that you've hurt, and you're addressing the people that you've responded to in this way, that you haven't been your best to. Let them know that you're willing to take responsibility for that. Because you've always been that loving, healing, wonderful person. You've always been that person. And they know that, and they know that you're in pain and you're responding from a place of pain. But you have to own it and you have to admit it. And that's what the beginning of that healing cycle will start for you again, is when you take full responsibility. I should not have been so short-tempered with you. I'm so sorry. I realized that I was responding from a place of pain, and in retaliation, I wanted to cause you pain. And I know that that's not okay, and I hope that you'll accept my apology. I am going to do my best to quickly understand and work through these difficulties to improve upon and better our relationship, because I care about you, because it matters so tremendously to you. All of these connections matter to you. That's why it hurts you. When you feel triggered and you lash out, it hurts because you did not want to do that. You didn't want to respond in the way that you received that energy. You never wanted that to happen. But it's happening. And so, compassionate, gentle reminders to love yourself where you are. And also take responsibility for your actions and your behaviors. Take responsibility for the positions that we're in. We don't want to respond to pain with pain anymore. We know that's not our nature, that we know that doesn't suit us. That has never been her goal or her intention. She loves her family so deeply. She loves the people that she's let into her life, it's because she trusts them. And she is perceptive of all of these things. She is self-aware. She is perhaps too self-aware, which is why it is so painful when she is triggered and she responds in these ways. So we're going to focus on patience, compassion, loving, understanding, focusing on our healing, focusing on allowing ourselves to get into that space where we can both be responsible and also be patient. We have both the opening heart and the Akashic records coming up here. Now, if you're not familiar with the term Akashic records, this is referring to the book of lifetimes, the book of everything that you've experienced, because time is relative. You've already experienced it. You've already been here. And these are the things that are documented that have transpired. And so you're now here experiencing these records. In order to fully understand your path and purpose, some people choose to do different methods of digging into these Akashic records to find a greater understanding. There's different methods to do it. There's individuals that have done training specific to access them. I have some experience accessing them as well. I've done most of that work initially for myself. But focusing on intention, path, and purpose allows us to gain this much deeper understanding of what we're here for. Spirit never intended you to arrive perfect, wrapped up with a bow, and everything rolled out in such a way that you live the kind of life that people write fantasy stories about. Fantasy stories are fantasy stories for a reason. You are here for a reason. You are here to experience a specific set of experiences and a specific set of lessons. And as we accept these lessons and as we welcome these lessons, as we understand that our hardships were meant to allow us to see potential in a different way. They were not to be held onto as our identity, but rather to be looked upon as an opportunity to understand that in order for us to truly love, we do have to understand what a lack of is. In order to understand wealth and to appreciate wealth, you have to understand what lack is. In order to understand understanding, we need to be misunderstood. There is a balance in all of these things that occurs where there is a positive and a negative side to them. The universe, feminine, actually we should go feminine and the masculine. And creation happens at the equilibrium. We require balance in this life. You will get nothing else out of this but a balance. There will be an equilibrium at which you recognize the most things happen for you. If you're up all the time, you're not necessarily appreciating and valuing those experiences the same way that an individual who up has a struggle, up has a struggle, because every time they experience that, they go, oh, that's so good, I love this. And they have a struggle and they're like, oh, this is tough. But you know what? I had good stuff. And I can get back to that. Go. And they get back up here and they, oh my God, this is so great. I'm so happy to be back here. And then there's a struggle and they're like, that's okay, because I can get back. And I know what it feels like when I do. And then they get back up and they're like, oh yes. Every time they bounce back, they feel stronger. They feel more powerful. They feel more in tune with themselves. Nothing can stop them. Nothing can break that cycle for them. You cannot throw a person off their game when they understand the power of balance. We have to understand the power of balance. And when we do understand that, it really does a number on who you are as a person. Because all of a sudden, you can look at other individuals and you can go, oh, I understand. I've been there. I've been in a similar situation. Oh, somebody I love very deeply was in that situation. And then they bounce back. There is a deep love and compassion that you begin to feel for all human beings at all ages and stages. Doesn't matter if we're talking about their physical age or their soul age. You can recognize yourself in more people. And when you can do that, you start to love them the way that you love yourself, that you want to love yourself, that you know you deserve to be loved. And you start pushing that out, and you start really giving that love in a completely different way. There's no greater blessing than in understanding that balance, and in understanding that we all have this personal journey that's filled with these ups and downs. And some of us are more equipped at dealing with it than others. Some of us have more experiences here on this life and other lives than the individual that you don't quite understand why they're raging or angry. They just haven't fully had those experiences. So you're able to feel more compassionate about these people. You're able to really truly understand them in a different, deeper way. And so when they are experiencing these difficulties, and when it comes back upon you, you have more patience, you have more understanding, you have that love and compassion. And you can say, you know, I don't hate life. I don't hate anyone. I don't hate anything. None of the things that have occurred in my life, none of the experiences that I've had, whether they were brought on by another individual or otherwise, has caused me to hate this life. Instead, it has given me a deeper understanding and a deeper love for all of humanity and all of the suffering that is endured here. There is suffering that people are experiencing that you didn't even see as suffering. There are people experiencing suffering that you yourself will never experience. And with this understanding, can you love more deeply? Can you understand the pain in which people respond to? You yourself experience a level of suffering that other people may not see as suffering at all. And other people may not ever experience. But also you cannot possibly fathom their suffering and their experiences. We all have these difficulties. They're at different periods of our life. They're at different phases. They're in different ways. But the lessons that we're here to experience are uniquely our own, and they're supposed to be. And it's supposed to help us have a greater, broader, collective understanding of humanity, having compassion and love, knowing that every battle is not your battle, knowing that every action against you is not necessarily an action against you. There is just a great deal of peace in recognizing your great place in this massive universe, and also your very tiny, insignificant place in this universe. Within the micro and the macro, there's us. We are equally both of these things at the same time. And so for this message, Spirit is asking you to dig a little bit deeper into your own experiences. Dig a little bit deeper into your heart and find a way to extend a little bit more love and compassion, a little bit more patience and understanding. Do a little bit more listening than talking. Allow your light to shine upon others and allow their light to shine upon you. Allow your darkness to help yourself grow, and allow others to deal with their darkness in the way that they need to deal with. It's not your place to drag anyone kicking and screaming into the light. They will get there as they are meant to. It's already written. They will experience it as it's written. And it was their will. It's always been their will. All of the potential that you may have chosen already exists. And it's about you hopping that timeline and choosing to be in that timeline. Where are you choosing to be right now? We pulled 2 cards in this last section here. We have the dead end and the storm. The storm is hitting us in this way where we're feeling a little bit destructive because we're recognizing that there are situations beyond our control or situations that we have allowed to occur that no longer suit us. It doesn't feel good, but it also isn't necessarily a safe thing to throw caution to the wind and just be reckless. Even though it might feel like, who cares? What does it matter? It's not working anyway. I'm not getting what I want. And especially right now, the energy is chaotic. It's powerful, but it's chaotic. And there's not a lot of sense to be made of it. But there is a beauty in that storm. That storm comes in and it thrashes everything in sight. Absolutely annihilates. It's completely seemingly random. There's no order to it. And we want to kind of fall into that energy. We want to go out into that storm, and we want to rage too. There are a few things that during that storm that just make more sense to do. For one, you can't control it. It's happening. And it's happening for a greater good than we are capable of understanding right now. But there are certain things that you cherish. Your life, your health, your loved ones, that you can hunker down with and protect during this time, during this chaotic energy, during this massive destructive phase. And some of it is absolutely in perfect timing. Because we've been asking for more, we've been pushing beyond, we've been wanting more, and it just wasn't happening in the ways that we were trying to propel it. And we continued to push anyway because we were trying to persevere. We're trying to do what all those wonderful qualities of humanity have described to us, hard work and patience and perseverance, and the storm comes anyway and just destroys it. Your house is damaged, your yard is in disarray, your whole life is just a mess. Now, what does that mean? This card, Spirit, is coming in with a potential here for you that is going to be really difficult for some people to accept. It's been trying to show you that you are at the end of that path, at the end of that road, and you have just been unwilling to see it. And you've been pushing and pursuing anyway, trying to make something happen that wasn't meant to be. I recently got very frustrated. I mean, like yesterday. I got extremely frustrated at a situation that had occurred that I did not know had occurred many years ago, causing me disruption now. Something in me told me that I needed to pursue it in a little bit different way. I was just dead set on doing it my way. And then I get to this point. It's not going that way now. It can't go that way. I mean, I could continue forcing it and maybe make it happen. And then what? And then I'm going to be dealing with more challenges because I was trying to force something that isn't the way that I'm supposed to be going. When this card comes up, Spirit is asking us, can you just accept that you've taken this as far as it can go? There's nothing else here for you. You turn around. Take a few steps back and look at your other path options. You're in the maze. You made a choice that led you to the brick wall. Do you stand there and kick the wall down? Do you stand there and bloody your fist, punching the wall and fighting that wall? Or do you say, oh, okay, well, what do I do? So I thought about it. I slept on it. And I woke up this morning very early and I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this stop me. This isn't the path I'm supposed to take. Here is something occurring that is not what I expected. It completely threw me off course. I hit the brick wall. I'm not going to stand here and fight this wall. It doesn't do me any good to fight this dead end. Spirit showed me, stop, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Go back here. Look at your other options again. Actually, this option makes more sense. I didn't want to take that option. It didn't look the pretty way that I wanted it to do, but is it going to serve the purpose that I wanted it to serve? Yes, it's going to accomplish the same goal. And actually, if I'm honest about it, it's going to be a lot easier that way. Like a lot easier. Why was I so set on doing it the hard way? I had it up, it's mapped out, it's planned out, and I'm going, and then right at the end, nope. Big fat nope. Now, I mean, yeah, there's stuff I can do to alleviate that, but why would I continue to fight it? Why am I floundering around in this dead end when I know there's other options? If I just am willing to step back for a second. Now, I'm not going to sit there and go announce my changes. Nope, doesn't matter. When I get there, when it matters, I'll know, and then I'll speak on it. But for now, I just need to acknowledge that I've come to that point, and this isn't the route that I'm supposed to be going. As much as I want to continue down this path, not quite my path. Close. You're on the right track. Back up a little bit. Look at your other options. Oh, this one looks more promising. I head down that path, and this one got lighting. I can see this path. This one makes way more sense anyway. We just have to admit that sometimes we felt called to do something. We took the actions, and we don't always make the perfect choices, but the Spirit has the path there for us. What Spirit was trying to show me is that I should not be dwelling on these discrepancies and these errors and these little mistakes and these little detours that occur. I just need to turn around and go find a way through. Pop that flashlight back on and go back and check out one of these other avenues. Check out one of these other options. Is there, if this career path isn't working out for you, what other career paths speak to you? What's something related that speaks to you? If this relationship has come to its end point, why are we acting like there's only one person in the world to have this kind of relationship with? It's not theirs. Take a few step backs, and you know what you were going for. You know what you were looking for. You don't have to change that. You just didn't find it here. It doesn't mean you're not going to find it. It just means you're not supposed to stop looking. You're supposed to stop looking here. Back up and look at your other options. See what other things are being presented to you. You probably passed right by it, thinking it wasn't right. Thinking, oh, well, the grass is definitely going to be greener down here. Come to find out, there's no grass at all. It's lava rocks. But if you sit there and dwell and allow those feelings of helplessness, disappointment, and I would have missed my window to go back and hit that other path. I can't sit here and dwell here. I don't have time. If I want to accomplish the goal the way that I want to accomplish it. But the way still exists. I just need to take a step back and be willing to be like, I was wrong. Okay. You know what? Actually, somebody gave me some advice. I wonder, let me try that. Because they did give me this advice. It was well-intentioned advice. It's good advice. They're a smart person. I wanted to do it my own way. And I had my plan. And I was marching on. And he was like, good luck. He's cheering me on the whole way. But hit that dead end. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and try his version. His advice. He pointed, he said, that might be the way. I'm not sure. You find your own way. But sure enough, it looks like that's the way for me. So let's not spend a lot of time beating up on ourselves, forcing issues, screaming and kicking our feet and being angry about the way things have transpired. Instead, just go, okay, well, if I want this, if I truly want this, and I want to show spirit that I want this, I can't just give up here. I can't just sit here at this dead end staring at it like, because that's, what, are you going to go sit outside in that storm? Just let it terrorize you? Or are you going to go hunker down for a minute, take a moment, let it pass, and then go take stock of things and see what's out there? Probably wasn't as bad as you thought. It'll pass. And then you get an opportunity to reevaluate things and look again. And we want to continue flowing with spirit. We don't want to allow every difficulty and every struggle to define who we are and to become our story. Let your story be that you don't give up, that you said, oh, well, that wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a path for me. Let that be your story. Let your story be that you will always find a way. This one isn't the path, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a path there for you to make your way. I hope this message provides some clarity for you during your difficulties of your storm and the struggles that you may be enduring. It's been wonderful talking with you. And so it is.